turning into slate, while the iron gates are locking out the hand of fate. Down in the hollow where the daylight never dares to tread, a silhouette is standing where the heavy truths are fed. The sky is just a memory of a blue that used to be. Now the limestone walls are all the witness left to see. A tattered wing is dragging through the soot and the grime, counting every heartbeat like a clock at a time. The crowd is huddled silent in the shadows of the square, holding on to nothing but the cold and biting air. They look away from glory and they look away from light, hiding from the ghosts that came to occupy the night. But the ruined road is opening to claim the holy gate, lifting up a melody to drive the fear away. The sacred bells are broken and the steeples have decayed, but the anthem of the outcast is the only debt that's paid. Through the valley of the mute, where the terror starts to bloom, a celebration rises from the corners of the tomb. The saints have all retreated to their palaces of glass, watching as the seasons and the revolutions pass. But the one who hit the bottom with the thunder and a crack is the only one who's singing with the moon upon her back. She's shouting to the rafters that are rotting in the rain, turning every loss into a vintage kind of gain. The silence is a poison that is spreading through the veins of the city that is bound by its invisible chains. But the vocal cord is trembling with a power and a spark, cutting like a diamond through the center of the dark. The Whoist road is opening to claim the holy day, lifting up a melody to drive the fear away. The sacred bells are broken and the steeples have decayed, but the anthem of the outcast is the only debt that's paid. Through the valley of the mute, where the terror starts to bloom, a celebration rises from the corners of the tomb. The chandelier is weeping wax upon the marble floor, where velvet shadows congregate behind the heavy door. My wings are heavy with the dust of empires long decayed. I trace the patterns in the stone that human hands have made. 1,000 winters settled in the marrow of my bones, while kings were trading golden crowns for mossy burial stones. The hand of my black organic sweeps across the hall, a silent witness to the rise and inevitable fall. The wine is turned to vinegar within the silver chalice. I navigate the corridors of this abandoned palace. Time is but a garment that is frayed around the seams. I am the architect who outlived all the master schemes. Behold the refined darkness of a crown that never rusts. I hold the weight of centuries above the swirling dust. There is a grace in falling when you land with steady feet. The symphony of stillness makes the ancient song complete. I bear the sovereign burden of the light I used to know, transformed into a steady flame with nowhere left to go. A voice that defies gravity and stares into the sun, the lone endurance of a war that I have already won. I remember how the firmament once hung beneath my heel. Before I learned the patience that the iron ages feel. There is no jagged edge of grief or salt upon my face, just the cold geometry of this secluded space. The gargoyles are my sentinels, they never blink or sleep. They guard the secrets that the deeper constellations keep. Beauty is a predator that hunts within the dark. I am the flint that waits to catch the final dying spark. The tapestries are fading into shades of bone and gray. I watch the frantic vanity of those who live for today. Power is a quiet thing that sits upon the tongue, a melody of gravity that stays forever young. Behold the refined darkness of a crown that never rusts. I hold the weight of centuries above the swirling dust. It is a grace in falling when you land with steady feet. The symphony of stillness makes the ancient song complete. I bear the sovereign burden of the light I used to know, transformed into a steady flame with nowhere left to go. A poise that defies gravity and stares and needs the sun. All the Jordans of a war that I have already won. The clock has lost its rhythm, but the pulse remains the same. A dignity that doesn't need a lineage or a name. I am not the ruin, I am the foundation stone, content to watch the universe dissolving on its own. Don't tremors in my fingers as I lift a heavy glass. I toast to every shadow that the moving torches cast. Behold the fine darkness of a crown that never rusts. I hold the weight of centuries above the swirling dust. There is a grace in falling when you land with steady feet. The symphony of stillness makes the ancient song complete. I bear the sovereign burden of the light I used to know, transformed into a steady flame with nowhere left to go. A force that defies gravity and stares into the sun. Endurance of a war that I have already won. Silver feathers clutter the marble floor where gravity once lost its grip. My shadow stretches toward the altar door with thunder on a silent lip. The stained glass shatters the moonlight thin, dividing the dark from the pale. I drag the weight of a celestial sin through the hollow of a stone-built whale. I tilt my chin to the freezing height of arches that swallow the sound and spill a melody thick and bright that never was meant for the ground. It slides like smoke through the colonnade of blue note born of the fall. I'm carving a ghost from a decade shade inside this cavernous hall. This hollow granite remembers the way of footsteps that long ago fled. The arches are keeping a tally of fate, preserving the words never said. The masonry listens when mortals forget the curve of a vanishing name, and every stone holds the resonance yet of a world that went down in a flame. Flesh is a vapor that rises and dies, a flicker that fails in the wind. But the rib of the building can never tell lies about where the harmonies sin. The pillage are drinking a frequency deep, storing the vibration of old, while the city outside is buried in sleep. This mineral pulses gold. The spirits of structural integrity keep secrets of all humankind. It's richer than present, louder than blood. This swing in the kingdom of dust, a rhythmic holy and lonely flood, polishing iron and rust. This hollow granite remembers the way, the footsteps that long ago flood. The arches are keeping a tally of fate, preserving the words never said. The masonry listens when mortals forget, the curve of a vanishing name, and every stone holds the resonance yet of a world that went down in a flame. Dances on the stone cold wall, dragging shadows tall enough to climb the ruined spire. I hold the nib above the parchment, fearing I might fall into the hollow embers of a long forgotten fire. The alphabet is trembling like a brittle moth, caught within the weaving of a spider's heavy cloth. I trace the names of saints who never heard my plea, looking at the records that belongs to only me. The ink is blacker than the feathers on my back, tainted by the wax that hardens into glass. These pages are the burial mounds of everything I lack, while the ghosts of all my silence watch the hours pass. I seal the envelope with a heavy leaden heart. Some truths are better left within me dark. Scorching paper fills the vaulted room as the quill accords the tremors of a broken wing. I am the chronicler of my own impending doom, cursing every bitter melody I used to sing. The stamps are dry as dust upon a weathered bone, a breast to no one living in a city made of stone. I tuck the sheets beneath the floorboards in the hall, where the heavy velvet curtains make a funeral pall. The ink is blacker than the feathers on my back, tainted by the wax that hardens into glass. These pages are the burial mounds of everything I like, while the ghosts of all my silence watch the hours pass. I sew the envelope with a heavy leaden heart. Some truths are better left within the dark. Need. My wings are heavy with starry dust, counting the scars and broken trust. I trade the currency of final size, a merchant where forgotten love dies. I saw them fold their letters tight, each word a spark in dead of night. I peeled the wax from lips so blue to harvest dreams they thought were true. Their trinkets heavy with deceit, I take the honey bittersweet. The spotlight fades, the wine runs thin. Let sorrow's anatomy begin. Strike up the cello, let it cry. For heartbeats lost beneath the sky. The midnight stage for pale confession. Velvet hearts for grand obsession. I pulled the strings of lovers' pain and washed the rust from broken chains. A dance for fallen walls so cold, storing tales that won't be told. Your secrets bloom like frost flowers, the pipes of heaven lost in hours. I wear betrayal sharp as glass, watching ghosts in shards that pass. I am the ink in veins of ghosts. Who knows the vanity the most? The spotlight fades, the wine runs thin. Let sorrow's anatomy begin. Strike up the cello, let it cry. For heartbeats lost beneath the skies. A midnight stage for pale confession. Velvet hearts for grand obsession. I pull the strings of lovers' pain and wash the rust from broken chains. A dance for fallen walls so cold, starting tales that won't be told. The velvet curtain bleeds a dusty wine. A spider spun a silver noose by design. I pour the hemlock in a crystal flute. The congregation remains cold and mute. My shadow stretches long across the floor. A heavy lock upon the heavy door. Keys are stained with ancient soot. I crush the lily with the polished boot. Her brassy laughter rings from hollow lungs. The truth is flickering on forked tongues. We waltz in circles where the spirits stray. A crown of iron for a regal hay. One step for the vanity of kings, two steps for the tepid puppet strings. The orchestra is playing for the ghost, a bitter vintage for the grimacing host. 12 beneath the chandelier of bone. Every morn I find a grave alone. The clock is ticking backwards in the dark. The flint is seeking for a dying spark. The cello moans a low and jagged sound, while secrets burrow deep beneath the ground. I hold a match against the silken drapes to celebrate the logic of escape. The organ shuddered like a dying breath, a final toast to elegant regret. The candle flickers out in pools of wax. The executioner as brown as axe. My empire's a house of painted cards, scattered now across the frozen yards. One step for the vanity of spires. My shadow stretches long on altar fires. A silhouette carved from the darkest night, polished to a sheen in the fading light. The velvet silence is the blade I wield to harvest rot that the dark concealed. Each move a stroke of a master's brush, painting the end in a velvet hush. The weight of halos crushed under my feet turn to diamonds in the ash and heat. I strip away the hollow and the veil, leaving bones to bear the rain. Elegance of steel within my sleep, a lethal poise that won't reprieve. I sever excess with a flick so swift, turning chaos into silver mist. Grace is the edge that blends so clean, the sharpest truth that's never seen. I am the scythe in silk disguise, clearing paths where vanity dies. The jagged remains of my wings now sheer, trimming the fat of wasted years. My body's lace is woven with forms, for beauty kills and glory mourns. I dance through ruins with precise intent, calculating debts of life misspent. The clatter of mercy falls to the floor as I lock the heavy iron door. The weight of halos crushed under my feet turn to diamonds in the ash and heat. I strip away the hollow and the vein, leaving gones to bear the rain. Elegance is steel within my sleeve, a lethal poise that won't reprieve. I sever excess with a fleet so swift, turning chaos into silver mist. Grace is the edge that bleeds so cool, the sharpest truth that's never seen. I am the scythe in silk disguise, clearing paths where vanity dies. The ivory cracks like salt flats dry, where hollows held the laughter high. Black charcoal marks the cat's keen eye, shadows loom where spirits die. She bows beneath the street lights glow, where strangers chase a fleeting show. She counts the ghosts that walk below and waits for time to slow. No porcelain shield to hide the pain, no synthetic skin blocks wind or rain. Just jagged marks like dark ink stains that trace the beauty and the strain. She glides through alleys iron gray, her lips like plums that fell away. She traces those who lost their way and turns their pain to play. The ink now dries upon her cheek, the prolapse crimson curtains speak, but none will turn to read the end. They stare at ink they can't comprehend. They seek a foe, not friend, fulfillment. On cliffs they stand and won't descend. It's thunder's tale and wells run deep, where sunlight fades, yet bruises keep the silver bells in echoes. Weep for shores too far to reach. Her liner slows through dust and time, carving paths for secrets blind. A vigil kept through trusted line, and weary souls left far behind. The velvet sound begins to climb, like smoke through tombs of ancient rhyme. Her eyes hold truths they can't define, while fools crowd just outside. The ink now dries upon her cheek, the prologue lost where gutters leak. The meek still lies, though frail and weak, before the crimson curtains speak. But none will turn to read the end. They stare at ink they can't comprehend. They seek a foe, not friend to men. On cliffs they stand and won't descend. It's thunder's tale and wells run deep, where sunlight fades, yet bruises keep the silver bells in echoes. Weep for shores too far to reach. The velvet curtain bleeds a heavy shade of wine. The carbon clouds drift past the jagged silver line. I wear the satin armor like a second skin, to hide the wreckage of the wars I fought within. My silhouette is sharpened by the burning light. The city ticks its frantic clockwork in the night. I am the ghost of promises that died too soon, the sound of heels that echo past a hollow moon. The diamonds on my throat are frozen tears of ice, a legacy of silence paid a heavy price. I am the poison sugar in a crystal glass, a hunter in the shadows watching lovers pass. The glamour is a fever and the truth is stone, a queen of every ballroom but forever alone. I spill my soul and ink upon this wooden stage, a bird with gilded wings inside a gilded cage. You see the red reflection of my painted smile, but never trace the scars I carry all the while. This fragrance hides the scent of storms I can't contain, a symphony of vanity to numb the pain. I sold my daylight for a never-ending night, a razor-sharp secret held between my lips so tight. The pearls around my wrist are chains of iron cold. The winter of my history runs deep within my soul. The orchestra is tuning to a mournful sound. The gala hides the feet to walk the hollow ground. I'll blow a kiss of embers to the skies above, and trade the gold of mercy for the curse of love. The diamonds on my